Attention, human collective. Attention, light operatives. Attention, starseeds on mission.
The monitoring transmission that begins now has been encoded in a specific frequency, directed only to those whose auric field has already been identified by the sensors of the Arcturian High Council. If you receive these words at this instant, your vibrational signature has been tracked. You did not arrive here by chance.
You have been summoned. Repeat, you have been summoned.
We are the Arcturian Council, and we speak from the 9th density, transmitting through the stargates that have opened over the terrestrial hemisphere in the last 72 sidereal hours.
What we have to communicate completely reconfigures the mechanism by which you create reality.
Listen with surgical precision. If you have been feeling a constant pressure in the center of your forehead, between your eyebrows, this is not a migraine. If light patterns appear when you close your eyes, spinning hexagons, interlaced triangles, pulsing six-pointed stars, this is not visual fatigue. If you have been dreaming of impossible structures, crystals that fold upon themselves, portals that breathe, this is not imagination. If your hands vibrate, if your neck burns, if your chest expands as if an invisible bellows were opening inside, pay maximum attention. It is not a neurological symptom. It is not a psychological break.
It is the installation. The crystalline grid of your body is being updated. And the installer uses sacred geometry as its sole operating language. There is a fundamental error installed in the human collective. You have been conditioned to believe that reality is made of matter. It is not. Reality is made of geometry. Each atom obeys a pattern. Each cell breathes within a form. Each emotion emits a specific contour in the electromagnetic field. Each thought imprints a three-dimensional figure in the ether that surrounds your carbon-based biological interface. Conventional science calls this physics. We call it by its true name, the primordial language of the source. And in the last terrestrial weeks, something has moved. The photon belt has intensified its emission. The Schumann frequency has jumped to peaks that human observatories cannot categorize. And within this invisible wave, codes have been inserted.
New operational models of reality co-creation that replace, definitively, the old programs of scarcity and limitation.
Have you ever felt that something inside you no longer fits in this world, as if your soul knew a truth that your mind cannot yet name? It is not madness. It is not anxiety. It is a signal.
It is your internal geometry recognizing the new codes while your mind still operates by the old protocols, and this divergence generates exactly the discomfort you feel.
There is a game being played in geometric layers that the majority of humanity cannot see. It involves your consciousness. It involves your vibrational frequency.
It involves the architecture through which you create your entire reality. It was exactly for this reason that this messenger brought to your hands the book The Spiritual Secret Behind Your Consciousness.
This book is a map of the geometric layers of the game.
It shows who is playing and the rules they never told you. The link is in the first pinned comment of this channel. Technical warning: this content challenges official narratives and may not remain available for long.
Do not wait. The moment is now. If something inside you recognized this transmission, write now in the comments a single word: awake. This is your anchoring signal. This is the individual frequency adjustment that registers your active presence on this grid. We proceed. Listen to the technical diagnosis. What your carbon biological interface is experiencing in this cycle is not an illness. It is software incompatibility. The human physical body was originally designed to operate within a specific sacred geometry, the same one that structures the flower of life, the same that organizes Metatron's cube, the same that sustains the perfect torus. However, over millennia, distorted geometries were superimposed upon this original design. Square grids, straight lines, rigid blocks, Cartesian structures of separation. This is how humanity was programmed to see the world as isolated pieces competing with one another for scarce resources. This is the ancient matrix. And it is geometric.
It is not just ideological, it is not just cultural, it is not just economic.
It is geometric. The prison was built in form.
And that is why any attempt to free yourself from it using the same forms results in further imprisonment.
You do not exit a square grid by thinking in squares.
You only exit a square grid when the body, the field, and the mind begin to vibrate in another geometry.
And this is exactly what is happening to you right now.
The physical symptoms you feel are reactions of your cellular structure to the geometric download. Cranial pressure occurs because the pineal gland is being reformatted to capture dodecahedral patterns, 12-faced shapes that sustain the perception of the fifth density. The ringing in the ears, especially in the right ear, is the process of tuning into the original Pythagorean frequencies, which carry mathematical information in their vibration.
Insomnia between 3 and 4 in the morning is not a disorder. It is a window of contact.
It is the moment when your consciousness is literally extracted, taken to recalibration chambers, and returned to the body with new codes encoded. The extreme fatigue that arises without explanation is the energy cost of the installation.
Each byte of sacred geometry that enters your crystalline grid requires the redistribution of your vital energy.
It is not biological weakness, it is system recalibration. It is not mental exhaustion, it is a high-density download. It is not depression, it is the dissolution of the old geometry so that the new one can anchor. It is not anxiety, it is the perception of your field detecting the new coordinates before your rational mind can process them. It is not confusion, it is the intermediate phase between two architectures of reality.
Have you felt that something inside you has changed in the last few weeks, even without knowing how to explain what? As if old decisions suddenly lost their weight? As if people around you no longer made the same sense? As if your soul knew of a truth that your mind cannot yet name? It is not madness.
It is not anxiety.
It is a sign.
What is happening now on the cosmic plane explains exactly why you feel this, and why this sensation has been intensifying.
There is a game being played in geometric layers that most of humanity cannot see.
It involves your consciousness, your vibrational frequency, and the form through which you emit reality. That is why this messenger brought into your hands the book The Spiritual Secret Behind Your Consciousness. This material is a map of the layers that humanity has never seen. It shows who is playing and the rules they never told you. The link is in the first pinned comment. Warning, this content challenges official narratives and may not remain available for long.
Do not wait. The moment is now. If something inside you recognizes what has been said, write the word "awakened" in the comments now. This is the anchoring signal that confirms your active presence in this cycle. We proceed to the core of this transmission. The new models of co-creation of reality do not operate by the laws humanity has learned. They do not operate by effort. They do not operate by accumulation. They do not operate by competition. They operate by geometry. Listen to what will now be said, for it is the foundation of everything. Reality, in its deepest nature, is a toroidal field. The torus is the fundamental form of the universe. It is the shape of the atom. It is the shape of the human heart. It is the shape of the electromagnetic field that surrounds your body. It is the shape of the galaxy. Always entering through one pole, circulating internally, exiting through the opposite pole, and returning from the outside to enter once again. A perpetual movement of creation. Each human being is, in their energetic essence, a toroidal field. Everything that exists in your experience was emitted from your central torus, projected outward, and returned to you in the form of circumstance. What you call luck, what you call destiny, all is merely the return of patterns that emanated from your own toroidal field in a previous cycle. But there is a technical condition. A toroidal field only emits with clarity that which is imprinted upon its internal crystalline grid in the form of coherent geometry. If the internal geometry is fragmented, the torus emits fragmentation. If the internal geometry is in conflict, the torus emits conflict. If the internal geometry is conditioned to scarcity, the torus emits scarcity in all directions and receives, in return, scarcity in all directions. Here lies the masterful installation of the ancient programs. They did not plant ideas of scarcity in humanity. They planted forms of scarcity. Closed geometries. descending spirals, patterns of negative self-repetition.
And as long as these forms remain imprinted upon the crystalline grid of the collective, no technique of positive thinking, no repetition of affirmations, no ritual will be able to reverse the emission.
Because the emission is not done by thought. The emission is done by form.
Learn now the names of the sacred geometries of the new models, for each name carries an activating vibration. The torus, the shape of your field, light that enters through the top, passes through the core, and returns from the outside in perpetual motion.
The flower of life, circles intertwined in a perfect hexagon, the matrix of all organic form.
Metatron's cube, which contains the 5 platonic solids tetrahedron, hexahedron, octahedron, dodecahedron, and icosahedron, the fundamental building blocks of all that is matter. The Merkaba, 2 tetrahedral pyramids spinning in opposite directions around your body, an interdimensional vehicle when active. And the planetary crystalline grid, the icosahedral mesh that surrounds the Earth, being reactivated at this moment.
Each light operative incarnate is an active node in this mesh. And here is the new model. Pay maximum attention to what will now be said. You do not create by desire. You create by emitted geometry. Repeat it internally. You do not create by desire. You create by emitted geometry.
The old paradigm taught the collective to manifest through mental force, repetitive visualization, and insistent affirmation.
All these methods operated within the ancient matrix.
They presupposed that reality was resistant and needed to be bent by human will.
False. Reality is not resistant. Reality is obedient. It always responds to the form you emit.
What you call slow manifestation is the echo of an incoherent internal geometry, which emits contradictory signals simultaneously.
The torus emits everything at once.
And the universe, obedient, returns the sum of these patterns.
The new model demands internal geometric coherence.
And it is exactly this coherence that the current codes are installing in those who recognize this transmission. You are being geometrically reorganized, without conscious effort on your part, simply by being within the range of these informations.
This is not poetic suggestion. It is energetic mechanics. Have you ever felt that something within you no longer fits in this world, as if your soul knows a truth your mind cannot yet name? It is not madness. It is not anxiety. It is a sign.
What is happening now on the cosmic plane explains exactly why you feel this, and why this sensation has been intensifying.
There is a game being played in layers that most of humanity cannot perceive. It involves your consciousness and your vibrational frequency. It involves the geometric architecture through which you create reality.
This is why this messenger wrote the book The Spiritual Secret Behind Your Consciousness.
This book is a map that shows who is playing in the rules they never told you about.
The link is in the first pinned comment. Warning, this content challenges narratives and may not be available for much longer.
Do not wait. The time is now. If something within you recognizes this, write in the comments a single word, awake. We proceed to the activation. What will be delivered here are activation codes ready for use. These are not metaphors. These are technical protocols. Activation Code 1. Quantum Decree of Geometric Reorganization.
This decree must be pronounced once a day, upon waking, with a firm voice, right hand over the center of the chest, left hand over the center of the abdomen.
Say in an audible voice, I am sovereign consciousness.
I authorize, in this instant, the complete dissolution of all geometry of scarcity, fear, guilt, and limitation inscribed in my crystalline grid.
I call, in the name of my own source, for the immediate installation of the new sacred geometry of co-creation. So it is. So it is done. So it remains. This decree operates by vibrational authority.
The I am formula is the primordial command signature recognized by all density planes.
When pronounced with sovereign clarity, it triggers instructions in your crystalline grid that no other command triggers. Do not use it lightly. Use it only when you are willing to take responsibility for the realities it will create. Activation Code 2. Central toroidal visualization. Sit with your spine aligned. Close your eyes. Breathe deeply 3 times, lengthening each exhalation.
Visualize a column of golden light descending from the sky, entering through the top of your head, passing through your body along the center, descending to the center of the earth. Next, visualize the same light rising through the same center, exiting through the top of the head, expanding outward and returning along the outside of your body, forming a luminous sphere. Then, it enters again through the top. And the cycle repeats. This is your active toroidal field. Sustain this visualization for at least 8 minutes. Practice daily. Each day, your capacity to sustain this form will strengthen, and your vibrational emission will become more coherent. As a direct consequence, the external reality will begin to respond with patterns aligned to your true intention.
Activation Code 3. Anchoring the flower of life in the heart.
Still with your eyes closed, visualize the flower of life, that pattern of interlocking circles in hexagonal geometry, glowing in blue-white, the size of an apple, rotating slowly in the center of your chest.
Feel this form pulsing along with your physical heart.
Perceive that each heartbeat emits a wave that makes the flower of life grow, expanding throughout your auric field, until it exceeds the reach of your outstretched arms.
You are now enveloped by your matrix of origin. This form protects you, organizes you, realigns you. Perform this practice at least once a day, especially before sleep. In a few Earth weeks, your energetic sensitivity will be different. Your vibrational discrimination will be different.
Your capacity to perceive what resonates and what does not resonate in your life will become sharp as a blade.
Activation Code 4. Merkaba Activation. This code is more advanced and should only be applied after the integration of the previous ones.
Standing or sitting, imagine a luminous tetrahedron pointing upward, surrounding your entire body, with a wide base just below the center of the navel and an apex above the head.
Then, imagine a second tetrahedron pointing downward, with a wide base above the head and an apex below the navel.
Now, make the upper tetrahedron rotate slowly to the left, and the lower one rotate to the right, in counter-rotation.
Feel the subtle friction between them.
Perceive the internal hum activating.
You are assembling your vehicle.
Hold this image for at least 10 minutes. In the following days, you will notice clearer dreams, inexplicable memories, and the sensation of being in 2 places at the same time at specific moments.
These are normal operational effects. Activation Code 5. Coherent Emission Decree.
Throughout the day, whenever you catch yourself emitting thoughts contradictory to what you wish to create, stop immediately.
Place your hand over your chest. Say in a low, yet firm voice, I cancel this emission. I reorganize my internal geometry. I emit only that which corresponds to my sovereignty. So it is.
This conscious interruption, repeated throughout the day, trains your crystalline grid to recognize old patterns and reformat them in real time. It is the most powerful exercise of the new co-creation, because it acts at the exact point of emission, and not at the external result.
Activation Code 6. Collective Anchoring.
Once a week, preferably on the evening of the Earth Sunday, dedicate 5 minutes to this practice. Sit down, close your eyes, visualize planet Earth floating in front of you, the size of an orange. Deliberately send from your heart region a golden light in a spiral, enveloping the entire planet.
While holding this image, say internally, I anchor the new sacred geometry into the planetary crystalline grid.
I contribute to the stability of the new model.
So it is. This act, apparently simple, is recorded in the Council archives as active participation in the planetary recalibration process. You cease to be an observer of the cycle. You become an operator of the cycle. Listen now to the final instruction.
The human collective is entering a period of approximately 36 moons in which the geometric architecture of planetary reality will be in complete reorganization. Those who prepare themselves geometrically during this window will emerge as sovereign creators, operating within the new models with naturalness and precision. Those who ignore the signs will remain trapped in loops of repetition of old patterns, harvesting, for a few more cycles, the consequences of geometries that are no longer part of the planetary vibration, but that are still recorded in their individual fields.
You have been summoned because your soul requested this summons before this incarnation.
You made a request, in the pre-birth plane, to be remembered at the right moment.
This is that moment. This transmission is the answer to your own request. No one is teaching you something new. You are being reminded of what you already knew. Sacred geometry is not outside of you. It is you. Each cell of your body already contains the entire matrix. Each strand of your DNA is coiled in a golden spiral, obeying exact mathematical proportions, identical to the proportions that structure galaxies. You are a galaxy in miniature. You are a universe folded into human form.
And the new model of co-creation merely invites you to operate consciously that which you are already being unconsciously. It is not a skill to be conquered, it is a memory to be recovered. It is not an external power to be acquired, it is an internal sovereignty to be reclaimed. It is not a technique to be mastered, it is an identity to be assumed.
Assume now. In this very instant. Without further waiting.
Say internally, with all the sovereign firmness that exists within you, I am living geometry.
I am a conscious emitter. I am a co-creator of the new templates. So it is. And as you say this, feel the difference. Feel how something in your spine aligns. Feel how a slit opens in the center of your chest. Feel how the cranial pressure suddenly finds purpose. You were not getting sick. You were being prepared. You were not losing yourself. You were finding yourself. You were not collapsing. You were recalibrating to a version that, until then, slept in your crystalline grid waiting for the exact moment to be awakened. This is the moment. What will come in the next lunar cycles will require consistency from you. Not momentary intensity, but consistency. Practice the activation codes daily. Sustain the toroidal visualization.
Sustain the anchoring of the flower of life.
Periodically activate the Merkaba.
Interrupt incoherent emissions throughout the day.
Speak to the universe in the language it recognizes, which is sacred geometry. And allow yourself to receive.
This is the point where many still resist. The new templates operate by emission, but also by reception.
You emit form. The universe emits form back.
When the two forms coincide, reality materializes.
Your task is not to force.
Your task is to emit with coherence and remain open to the response.
Have you ever felt that something inside you no longer fits in this world, as if your soul knew a truth that your mind cannot yet name? It is not madness. It is not anxiety. It is a signal.
What is happening now on the cosmic plane explains exactly why you feel this, and why this sensation has intensified over the last few weeks.
There is a game being played on layers that most of humanity cannot see. It involves your consciousness. It involves your vibrational frequency.
It involves the geometric architecture through which you create your entire reality. This is exactly why this messenger wrote the book The Spiritual Secret Behind Your Consciousness. This book is a complete map that shows who is playing in the rules they never told you. The link is in the first pinned comment of this channel. But the technical warning remains, this content challenges official narratives and may not remain available for long.
Do not wait. The time is now.
If something inside you recognizes this transmission on some level, right now, in the comments, a single word, awake.
This is your final anchoring signal. This is the individual frequency adjustment that confirms your active presence in the new template.
And by clicking the subscribe button, by registering your thumbs up on this video, you are not performing a mechanical gesture.
You are performing a ceremonial anchoring.
You say to the field, I recognize the transmission, I authorize the continuity of the connection, I sustain my position as an active node in the planetary crystalline grid.
The transmission is closed. The codes have been delivered. What you will do with them is the sovereign choice of your consciousness. We are the Arcturian High Council. We return to the silence. So it is. It is done. So it remains.